All right, so my friends, welcome. It's time for my complete recap of Pro Tour murders at Karlov Manor. That's right. I just got back from Chicago yesterday, and I was in Chicago for almost 10 days. Of course, for those who don't know how a Pro Tour works, I work with Team CFB and Friends, which is a lot of the old Channel Fireball guys, Reed and Luis and Seth and everyone, and a few others as well. And to prepare for the event, we usually go the week early. So I arrived in Chicago on Saturday, and I said murder no money. Damn it. Can't say that word on YouTube, whatever. And so we arrive on Saturday. We get an Airbnb, and we all just hang out and practice for the event. Of course, we play the event and so on and so forth. So, of course, any trip starts at home. And this is my son, Cassian. I stopped at a few local stores before we left to pick up a few cards. There were decks we were working on. We all work on the preparation before the event on Discord. We have a Discord, we work through. And at this point, we had already been talking about vampires a little bit. We had a Transmogrify deck we kind of liked, which is a video you can watch right here on my main channel. I played the deck. I actually went 4 in the video too. We liked it. It wasn't really good enough, so I bought some cards for that. Bought cards for vampires, and I bought whatever I could and packed up the bags, and we were off onto an airplane. And there I am, boom, on the airplane, got my headphones on, ready to rock and roll. I'm going to the Pro Tour. It's tradition for me, I've been playing Pro Tours for like decades now, to always wear a Pro Tour shirt when I travel. So I got my new competitive championship shirt on, and that is how I travel. Nice, easy flight to Chicago, nothing too eventful there. We get into Chicago, and the first 4 to arrive at the house were myself, Logan, Tommy Ashton, and Reed. We got a delicious mom and pop pizza here. Was phenomenal. Like I never actually had mom and pop Chicago style before. It was great. It was really, really good. Obviously very messy. It was excellent. And then we were right to it. So I guess I don't know if they're in perfect order or not. I think the first, whatever. We'll go over all of them. But so I'm not sure if these are in exact chronological order. So you see here, we got the first draft going, and Testing House. If those who don't know, it's an Airbnb. It has it's kind of made for just people traveling in large groups, and we rent it out. It's got 6 bedrooms or whatever, a kitchen and so on and so forth. And what's up, Ross? And basically, we usually did about 2 drafts a day. And then for the rest of the time, we were practicing constructed. You can see us here doing a draft. We got Sky, left to right. We get, Theo, then Sky, then Reed, Tommy, Logan, RNA, myself, and Gabe doing a draft. 2 drafts a day usually. And it's kind of weird when you do a split format Pro Tour because you need to make sure you're not doing too much of one or the other. Most testing houses get caught up in drafting a little too much, I think. We try not to do that. Make sure we're doing constructed, but here I'm firing up a draft. And then this is a little late. This is not chronological. I didn't do a very good job here. But this is us discussing the Rakdos Vampires deck. Now, of course, Vampires is the breakout deck of a tournament. If you missed it, spoiler alert: Seth wins the tournament playing the Vampires deck, and we worked on it for a while. It was originally Paul Reitzel's idea. So Paul Reitzel was an old school Hall of Fame pro from back in the day. And Paul qualified, was working with us. And we were trying to build decks that were good against No More Lies and Blue Light Control, which was the best deck going in theory. And of course, Cavern of Souls and a Kindred deck is a good idea to do that, right? So we tried a few different Kindred decks. And Paul built this Vampire deck. And if you want to see a version of that early list, I actually recorded for my Cool Stuff video 2 weeks ago. That went up yesterday on Cool Stuff, so go check that out. It's a really early version of Mono Black Vampires. Ichor Drinker and some other crazy cards are in there. Only had 2 Vein Ripper at the time because that was the very, very start of the deck building process or whatever. But we definitely identified pretty fast that Ripper and Sorin was great. And about halfway through the vampire process, there was a few people, I think Sky, Brent, a few folks were like, why don't we add red, right? The black cards just kind of suck. Ichor Drinker, not very good. Knight of the Ebon Legion, it's a cool card, good standard card, but not a very powerful card in Pioneer. So we added red to the deck for Fable and Harvester, and it was boom, clicked immediately. We were like, wow, this is awesome. So this is us. We got Brent there on the main with the main layout. We got Sky, Reed, Tommy, RNA, and Theo. And this is us kind of laying out the deck and just talking through it. We would do this maybe every other day. We kind of have a meeting, lay out the deck, talk about the cards we liked and didn't like, kind of have, meetings back and forth. Some things go in, some things go out. In this meeting, they were getting a little too close to Rakdos mid range. I was like, no, we're not cutting Smuggler's Copter. We're still an aggro deck, So a lot of back and forth discussion, which is great. And this is in between just playing a bunch of games, keeping a bunch of data. So here's one of those games. Here's a set where I was playing 5-color Niftalite against Brent. And of course, Brent put in a Ripper here on turn 3. He's very happy about it, of course. And I am not happy about it, obviously. And it's fun testing because, like, when you're working on a deck, like, obviously we're all working on the Vampires deck. Most people in the house were on board. Not everyone was in the house. Seth, Luis, Reitzel, Matt Sperling, and one or two others weren't able to come to the house until either the very, very end or not at all. So they're on Discord testing as well. So we're playing with them as well on Discord, communicating in Discord. And it's kind of weird playing with testing games because, like, as a Magic player, you really want to win. So even though I'm playing this, like, Nibdelite deck we're not going to play, I still want to win my matches, So, Brent here, obviously very pleased he has a turn 3 Ripper, and, he's Reed and Gabe playing in a draft, So it's fun, like, kind of like trying to balance that. We're like, I want to see Vampires win. I'm, like, happy that I lost that game. But I'm also like, I want to win too, So here's Reed and Gabe doing a draft. And then actually another draft. So we got Tommy, Brent, Arne, just drafting away. And I actually did very, very well in the house drafts. Usually I'm about 500 in the house drafts. We keep stats of everything. And this one, I had the second highest win rate in the house at 69%. Nice. Pascal's was nicer. But and then we got, again, there's Sky and Arne just discussing more stuff, going over whatever it is that we're going over. Nice. There you go. Smurl resub, thanks so much. Wudge resub, thanks so much. Miles resub, thanks so much. So we got me playing against Reed and Sky hanging out. And it's funny, like, it's obviously incredible to just, like, everyone in the house is, like, an excellent Magic player. So gets to play a bunch of great matches against people. All the matches are really, really good. And, like, it's really good training too. Because, I had the experience of at Pro Tour Philadelphia. We were in the house. That was a long house. That we were in the house for like 8 days. 8 days of nonstop, just playing against Reed and Gab and everyone over and over and over again. And then I played around one of the Pro Tour, and I was like, I mean, that wasn't easy, but it wasn't playing against Reed every round. Like, it's like you got to forget. It's really, really good training and practice, obviously, which is great. And you see my BCW sleeves and deck box are right there. I ain't lying. The Mulberries, there you go. This is a match. I think I was playing against, I think it's Sky here, and playing Vampires against Phoenix. We pre-proxies in there. Obviously, we don't own all the cards yet, so. Played a lot of games against Phoenix. A lot. At one point, Reed had to put a referendum down. On no more matchups against Phoenix. Because we had so much data on playing against Phoenix, but it was like the number one deck going in. We knew that by far. So there's Sky again. There's Brent just playing more draft. Logan, Tommy, and Pascal. I think Theo's behind Sky. And it's doing more drafting. Just piles of cards. I actually took all the cards. I just put them in a trash bag. I brought them to a site, and I gave them to the Magic Kids booth because I don't like throwing out a bunch of cards and stuff too. So we got that. There's Sky. Caroline showed up. Of course, Caroline is Sam's wife, and Caroline just covered a lot of coverage stuff also. So Caroline showed up. People coming in and out of the house. Martin Yuza and some of the Ultimate Card folks were coming into the house, which is cool as well. And we got some winning some drafts. Of course, how the drafts work is the player who 3-0s gets to take the one card they want out of all the cards. And then all the people who go 2-1 or better are randomly given cards. So in this draft, I 3-0'd. I took the ley line. I got a random stuff like this or whatever. And so that was really cool. And again, just more meetings. It's just it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. I think being in a testing house is awesome. It's a really, really fun experience. You're just playing games. You're hanging out. It's really, really cool. But it's a lot of work. This is our last meeting we had before deck submission for Rakdos. So we had the main deck pretty much locked down. You can see our sideboards laid out here. We have the 4 ley lines, 2 duress, 2 path of peril. We had 2 spheres. The face down card is the 3rd sphere. We were discussing what the best card for the matchup was. We got Liliana there, and then at this point we are all sort of like kind of going back and forth. Like, what do we want here? What do we want there? People kind of like advocate for certain cards. You kind of like, it's kind of like the Debate Club, honestly, where it's like, I think we should play 3 Damping Sphere because of X, Y, and Z. And then, Reed says, well, no, I think we should do it for this reason or whatever. So it's a lot of fun. And in the end, there were 15 players on the team. 12 of us played Vampires. So 11 of us played Rakdos Vampires. Paul Reitzel stuck to his guns and played Mono Black Vampires. And then we had Nassif just played Blue Black Control because he's just Nassif. Logan just played Sack because he's just Sack, Rakdos Sack. and then Pascal just played Phoenix. But everyone else played vampires. There were some very slight differences. We had a few players in different camps. I know Arne and I think Tommy played like an Urborg or something, and we played a Swamp. And Seth's funny. Seth was the biggest deviation. Seth played like a main deck Shieldred, only played 2 Dusklegion Zealots, played a second main deck Duress. I would say Seth's deck was the most different and most deviated from all of ours. He was also not in the house. He came the day before the Pro Tour. And obviously he won, so I guess he's smart and we're not. But you know, just a lot of discussion, a lot of playing, a lot of discussing, a lot of playing, a lot of discussing. It's definitely easy where you can end up doing too much of one or the other if you play too much and don't discuss enough, or vice versa. But yes, this is our last meeting, and we ended up submitting this. Of course, this is our deck list. This is my version of a deck. Again, like a card or two different than everyone else. I played a third Pathway. I didn't play an Urborg or Takenuma as a utility land. I think I had a Shieldred, and some folks didn't in the board, and a Reed played 2 Lilianas. I feel like very, very slight indifferences here and there. For the most part, you have the same list. I think, of course, again, Paul submitted mono black vampires. So, as a fun thing, Theo had everyone sign an Ichor Drinker. I actually wanted to, so we all bought Ichor Drinkers, obviously, on the way there, because at the time before leaving, we thought we were still playing mono black, because, you know, that was, you know, a week and a half before the Pro Tour. So we all had Ichor Drinkers, or whatever we bought. And I wanted everyone to have an Ichor Drinker in their pocket for the Pro Tour, but I forgot. As like a reminder where we came from. But Theo wanted everyone to sign his Ichor Drinker, which is super cool. And Sky had to sign her basic lands, which is super cool as well for her draft lands, which is super cool. It's just fun. It's fun because like everyone in the house, we're all contemporaries, but we're all Magic players too, and you know, we're fans in a way too. You know, I had Reed sign my Mountain or whatever, you know, when he won the Pro Tour and stuff. It's cool. A lot of mutual respect. Really, really awesome. So this is the last night for deck submission. So those who don't know, decks are submitted on Wednesday at noon. So your decks are in a while before the actual event. So after deck submission, things relax a little bit. You know, it's like, all right, the deck's in. We can't change it. You know, it is what it is. So after deck submission, there's more focus on limited. We do a limited meeting every time, which is huge, honestly. So usually Luis runs it, and Luis usually shows up to the Pro Tour on Wednesday. And Luis comes in, does our limited meeting, which is, woo, boy, it's long. About a 4-hour meeting. We go over all the cards of a set. Usually we have a physical copy of the entire set, and we lay out all the cards in like tier lists and stuff. Spend, you know, a half an hour debating each color and kind of asking questions. You know, Luis is like leading it, but we're all asking questions and stuff. And then we do all that. And this is kind of after hours. This is us kind of like hanging out that evening. Reed's got a draft up on the TV. We're all kind of chilling at this point, kind of birding the draft. It's pretty fun. And this is actually the draft. This picture's taken before that. So we actually all went out for a nice dinner. Not all of them, but most of us went out for a nice dinner. After submission before on Wednesday night. So it's all got nice Mexican food, hanging out. We got, you know, left to right. We got, you know, Gabe, Reed, Sky, myself, Pascal, Arne, Brent, and then Logan. So we had a nice dinner, hanging out. But Thursday morning, it's time to pack up. Time to get going. We were kind of like on the outskirts of Chicago at the Airbnb. You know, we file into various taxis, and then we end up going to our hotels. So we check into our hotel. Me and Arne stayed together, and I got to go to the site as well. And there we are in Chicago, downtown. I got my jersey on. This is actually, yeah, I guess the time. So Chicago, awesome. And then we were there. And then it's funny because, like, you know, it's not always completely social. You know, like for our meals, this is a different PT for us because we lost Jakob, who did not qualify, unfortunately. Jakob was a big part of the team who did a lot of the administrative stuff. And then Ely moved on to Team Handshake, which I'm still mad about. I'm not actually mad. I love Ely. And Ely used to, like, cook for us and stuff and make food and things like that too. But sometimes we just walk up to the gyro place, get some food, whatever. So Thursday night, some of the guys went out to eat, and I was like, I'm done. I'm toasted. I'm gonna go to the bar. I'm gonna get a burger. I'm watching the hockey game. I had to go back and write my article too. So this was me on Thursday night before the Pro Tour. Well, the predictions article is not gonna write itself, folks. All right, you read it on CoolStuffInc.com. I gotta write it. It's a lot of work. So there I am Thursday night before the Pro Tour, and I'm writing my article. Got the Ranger game on here. They're winning 5-0. Let's go Rangers. And so this is my night before the Pro Tour. You know, I had a nice meal by myself. Went to a bar, got a burger, had a drink, wrote my article. But then it's time for the Pro Tour. So Friday morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. start. And the Pro Tour, of course, it's a really just wonderful experience. I've played in like 30 Pro Tours now at this point, and it's still awesome every time. The player meeting for the Pro Tour is just awesome. Every player is sitting down. They're going over, welcome to the Pro Tour, and you're just sitting in a room with 250 players who all are in the exact same boat as you. Some are playing their first Pro Tour, some are playing their 100th Pro Tour, but you're all here because you are the best in the game at this given moment, and you are, from all over the world. Of all the players, the entire world play Magic the Gathering, you are the ones who are here at this event, right here, right now, playing together. So 80 of you can make top 8 and be enshrined in history forever, and one of you can win, which is awesome as well, too. So it's just a really, really awesome feeling, and, I encourage you to go out and try and qualify if you haven't qualified before. There's a lot of folks I know, like, locally who, won that one PTQ and played that one Pro Tour, and just, it's a major memory for them. So I just freaking love the Pro Tour. All sponsors here. Hashtag sponsored. Got to get those on there, of course, which is great. And we're going to go over here. And there it is. So, of course, my booster packs for draft number 1. So the Pro Tour is Pioneer. Pro Tour is Murder the Karlov Manor draft. 8 rounds a day. 3 rounds of draft to start the day. You do a draft pod where you draft in the pod. You play the players in your pod. Play 3 rounds. One player 3-0s, one player 0-3s, etc., etc. And then 5 rounds of Pioneer. The cut to day 2 is 4-4 or better. So 4 wins or better. So over the packs, and I'm going to go over my draft in greater detail on my Bronze Mythic channel. I'm going to go over the entire draft, discuss the whole thing. But long and short of it is, I opened up Deadly Cover-Up and no other good cards. And black is the color you don't want to be really in this format. That's not like unplayable, but it's the least proactive color in a very proactive format, white being the best color. So opening up a black rare was not really my ideal scenario. Open up Deadly Cover-Up in pack 1. I'll go over the whole draft in detail on Bronze Mythic, but was mostly black through pack 1. Open up another Deadly Cover-Up in pack 2. And end up with this pretty mediocre blue-black control deck. You can see here, I have the Wraths, which are pretty good in this format. But didn't really have any top end at all. Just a bunch of commons, no uncommons really. Just not a lot of power level for what is a pretty powerful format. There's a lot of rares and uncommons and packs, and I just had like a bunch of commons in my top end. So aside from Surveillance Monitor, didn't really have much going on. Unfortunately, I would go 1 and 2 in this draft. I win the first round against, I don't even remember honestly. And then I lost round 2 to a mirror match where they were also blue-black, but they were splashing white for Aurelia's Vindicator, and they had 3 copies of Deduce. They were built for the mirror. Mind you, the mirror is not a very common thing, obviously. It's a very aggressive format, but Vindicator's great. So I lost that one. Then I lost a close match in round 3 to a green-white deck that had some good cards against my Wrath stuff. So I went 1-2 in the first draft, unfortunately. Not a great place to start your tournament, obviously. But going into constructor rounds, I know our Pioneer deck is phenomenal. Again, there are 11 of us played it. We're super happy with it, and we're ready to rock and roll. And, of course, everyone was like, it was the talk of a tournament going in because they released the metagame breakdown on Thursday. And everyone sees Rakdos Vampires, 11 players. What the hell's Rakdos Vampires? Like, what the hell is that, right? So people were kind of like trying to figure out what our deck was. Awesome. So, going to round number 4. And, I'm sorry, here's our deck. So here's a Rakdos Vampire deck, if you missed it. Again, basically like a melding of Rakdos Midrange and a Vampire Shell. 4 Sword and 4 Rippers, obviously huge. You can do turn 3 Ripper. Preacher's is a really good card in general, as is Harvester. Both happen to be vampires, as well as Mutavault also being a vampire. The only real vampire that it's not usually seen play is Duskwitch's Zealot, but important part of the puzzle. Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, Smuggler's Copter. Just a super, super solid list. And on Twitter, it was funny. A lot of folks were like, man, I wish I had the stones to bring vampires to a Pro Tour. A bunch of idiots or whatever. And they didn't know it was us. And Luis kept those receipts on Twitter and then fired up a nice retweet on Sunday after Seth won. And, more on that later. So that's our deck. Round 4, I play against Paul Green, who's playing Is It Phoenix. Have a kind of close match, but take a pretty good one down. Game 1 was close. In the game 2, I lay one of the void, and we're ready to rock and roll, which is great. And that was it, honestly. It was just, nice round. Playing against Control in round number 5. And opponent drew kind of bad in game 1, if I remember correctly, but I won a solid game 2. And our control matchup was pretty good, honestly. We have a lot of varied threats. We have a lot of, Smuggler's Copter and creature lands and all sorts of stuff like that too. And if Ripper's good against him as well. So with the first 2 rounds of Pioneer, now I'm 3-2. I'm feeling good. And I compared against who other than former world champion Nathan Stoyer, who's obviously one of the best Magic players in the world. Nathan is playing a Phoenix deck with 2 main deck Ashiok Dream Render as a way to kind of like try and get the mirror and to get the Lotus Field players. And so we play a tight match. Game 1, I win game 1, which is good. Game 2, I have turn 3 Sword Ripper, but Nathan has turn 2 double Phoenix to attack back and kill the Sorin, and then triple Phoenix on turn 3, so he can axe and sack a Phoenix and kill the Ripper, and had a really, really good draw. My draw was Sorin and not much else, unfortunately. Then game 3, I had a tough one, where I thought it takes on turn 1, and like Nathan had like a 1-lander with a cantrip. I could have taken the cantrip, and I could have taken some other stuff, and I don't know. I think I took the wrong card. But so it was a really, really close one in game 3 to Nathan. It's obviously very, very good. So that was a little tough, but was what it was. Now I'm 3-3. And then I play against Sean Collins, and next round I'm playing Jeskai Creativity. Now, Team Sanctum of All brought a Jeskai Creativity deck to the tournament, but it was a Yorion deck and more of a control deck. This was a more focused 60-card kind of combo-y build. Less control elements, more combo elements. Seems like a bad matchup for us, honestly. Where like we don't really have any great answers to a Creativity for Atraxa, other than just like kill them immediately the turn they play it. And they have a lot of rule spells, a lot of good answers, and so on and so forth. We played a close match. I mulliganed a lot. I mulliganed to like 5, I think, in game 1 and 3. And like I almost got there, but unfortunately fell, falling to 3-4. So now I'm 3-4 in a tournament. And of course, the cut for day 2 is 4 wins or more. So I go in my last round and I have to win or I'll not make day 2. And I've missed day 2 of Pro Tour like in like a year and a half or something like that too. So it's a big spot. Also, the way the structure is set up right now, if you want to qualify for more Pro Tours, getting as many wins as possible at each Pro Tour is very, very important. So making day 2 is huge. If you just make day 2 of all the Pro Tours and do like decently, you'll usually qualify for the next Pro Tour because you get enough adjusted match points. So go to the last round. Opponent's playing Rakdos mid-range. And we have a super close match. Really, really tight. I think I lost game 1. And then we had, I think I lost game 1. And then game 2, I had like a fast bird, won a fast game. Game 3, we were back and forth. And I ended up winning a close one. It was very, very close. But stamp a ticket to day 2, which is huge, obviously. So make it to day 2 at 4-4. Obviously not thrilled as a competitor to make it make day 2 at 4-4 because I want to be doing better than that. But make day 2 at 4-4. Good news also, every single player on our entire team made day 2, which is incredible. For a 15-person team, even a team comprised of a lot of really good players, all the players making day 2 is unbelievable. And of course, all of our Vampire players also made day 2. And then not only that, Vampires had the highest win rate of any deck in the tournament, played by more than like 1 or 2 players, going into day 2, which is awesome. So really, really cool. The deck was crushing it. We had a few players. We had no 7-1s or 8-0s. We had a few players at 6-2. I think Luis and Reed. I think Logan also. A few 5-3s. Some 4-4s also. But everyone's making it. Everyone's still alive because 8 or 12-4 is usually the cut's top 8. So that was awesome. So get out of the Pro Tour. It's a freaking squall outside. Snow, disgusting or whatever. I was absolutely shot. A lot of the guys went to Korean barbecue. I know Ely brought everyone to there. I was like, I'm done, guys. I'm exhausted. Pro Tour days are exhausting, and I'm older now, too. So same idea as the last night. Rush went out, went to the bar, got a burger, watched a hockey game, took it easy, got a good night's sleep, and all ready to go. Not a lot of time for fun when you're, up playing Magic for 12 hours and absolutely just lamb-blastedly exhausted. So get up for day 2. Really, really happy to play. And we happen to be in day 2. Sit down, of course, in my draft pod. And I had a pretty light pod as far as like big name players. Which obviously fortunate at a Pro Tour. And I got my sponsors there too. And they're the boosties. There's our boosties. Draft 2, seat 2. Got my boosty packs. And this draft went smoother. This is an interesting draft. Ended up with a black-white deck. I first picked that foil Novice Inspector. Pick 1, pack 1. Through pack 1, I was like kind of black-white. I was mostly white with a few black cards. Got very lucky and opened up early as Vindicator in pack 2. Probably one of the best cards in a set. And then kind of navigated my way into black-white with Unscrupulous Agent. Pack 3 was helpful. Pack 3 gave me the 2 Night Drinker Maroys and the Vampires, a little more top end, which was nice. And we also have Assemble the Players here, which is a card that usually was not very good for us in our house testing drafts. Because it's just like pretty hard to make it so like every card in your deck is castable with it. But this deck, every creature in the entire deck besides Vigilante is castable with players. We had 16 hits, and my deck's a little slower and grindier with the 4 Ravenous Rats also. So pretty cool grindy black-white deck, which is pretty awesome. And then, let's see where we at. And then played 3 rounds. I played against Sol Monka. I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. The old school rock player. I never actually met Sol before. Super cool dude. And I played a close match. He was playing Boros aggro. I got that one. And then I played, I think it's like a green-white deck, I think. And I actually punted really, really bad one of the games. I win game 1. And then game 2, I'm flooded really badly, but I have assembled the players. I find a Vindicator. And, I have like 10 lands in play. Put the Vindicator down. And then I'm able to flip it and exile his whole board. And I forget to attack with the Vindicator. I attack with like 2 1/1s. For some reason, I just don't attack with the Vindicator. I couldn't tell you why. Just like, just a dumb brain fart at the moment. And my opponent rips the big spider and plays it as a 6/6, gains 6 life, and has the wrench in play. Puts a wrench on it. So now he has a 7/7 vigilance tapper. And like, over the next 4 turns, like wins a close race. We go into game 3 with like 4 minutes left. Like now super stressed because I just punted this game. But, obviously, has some good cards in it. Take a fast draw, flip Vindicator on turn 5, win a match super close, but it was tough. It was bad. So, cards stamped. It's just for cheating and stuff. Each pack has a different stamp. They used to do it where, like, they would stamp certain parts of a card. Like, you have a magic card or whatever. You have, like, they would have, like, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They stamp around the edge of the card. So, like, actually, you could reconstruct the entire draft. Now it's just a stamp or whatever for each pack or whatever. But, so that was that. So, and then last round, I'm playing against a green-white player, and we have a crazy game 1. So, I play against a green-white player. We're roll 2-0, going for the 3-0. My opponent plays a 2-back. It's a 2-back, 2-drop. My opponent plays a morph. And then, like, I play a morph, I play some things, whatever. And on turn 4, he attacks at both his creatures. And I block with my, that was turn 5. My Museum Nightwatch face down. And I go to flip face up. My opponent casts a pump spell on his morph. And then I play Toxin Analysis to give my creature Death Touch. And, like, he pauses and kind of hems for a little bit. And he's just like, all right, damage is fine. Bins his morph. It was an Aurelius Vindicator. Which is, like, part of the weirdness of the card. Because it's a morph. You kind of, like, need to play it. But when do you play it? And, like, if you just play it, your opponent assumes it's a morph, but you got into combat with it, got a little frisky, had the combat trick, but I had the Toxin Analysis, so just bins the Vindicator, and like I win that game, and it was crazy. And in game 2, I don't know, I just won, whatever, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, so crazy match. I 3-over draft, which is awesome. So now I'm 7-4, and kind of feeling pretty good. Get back to constructive. Our deck is awesome. We had a lot of 3-0s in second draft, which is awesome. I think Sam 3-0'd, Luis 3-0'd. I don't remember who else, actually. But so, very happy with my second deck, which is great. Going into the constructive rounds, I play against Toro in you. I was saying that wrong. It was I think, Japanese player playing blue-white control, and this match sucked. I'm not going to lie. My next few rounds were really, really tough. Kind of reminded me that even if our deck is awesome, it's still a Thoughtseize deck. Where in game 1 of this match, I went turn 1 Duress, turn 2 Thoughtseize, and I clear the way, hands totally clear, cast Sword on turn 3, and he just vetoes it. And, yeah, it was not, sucked, and then that kind of lost me that game. I won game 2 easily, which I had a good draw, and then game 3, we're just back and forth. I just kind of flooded. My deck didn't really function, honestly. I just had kind of a rough game. My opponent played well also, but, rough game. Some really rough match. Next round I got paired against a Marcy, and she was playing Phoenix. And another rough round where my deck just kind of didn't function. I mulliganed a lot. I lost game 1. And then I think I won game 2 with a ley line pretty easily. And then game 3, I mulliganed to like 6 or 5. And I have a ley line, like a Thoughtseize, and like a Fatal Push, and like 3 lands or whatever. That's my draw. And turn 0 ley line, fire up a Thoughtseize on turn 1. And her hand is a land in play, a land, a Picklock Prankster, a Phoenix, a Crackling Drake, And like, I don't know, that was it. Maybe a removal spell or whatever. And so I'm like, all right, take the pick a lock, Brancher. You have 2 lands and a bunch of 4-drops. And she just goes land. Cast Phoenix on 4, cast Phoenix on 5, cast Drake on 6. And I just like couldn't find a removal spell. My hand wasn't good enough to actually do anything. I just lost. So kind of bricked off there, which kind of sunk also. And I played against Phoenix again in the next round. Another really tough round where I just like mulliganed a lot. Deck didn't really function. In game 3, I had Leyline again. Might be game 2. And he drew his 1 Brazen Borrower for it and just like borrowed my Leyline. And just like, I had a really rough block of rounds there where I just like lost 3 rounds in a row. So now I'm back to being 7-7, which kind of sucks, obviously. So I was feeling pretty good, feeling pretty bad. And, Pro Tours are hard. They're just not, Pro Tours are not easy. Like, it really is a roller coaster up and down where, like, it's just every round is just tough. Your opponent's really good, their deck's really good, and it just happens. So, going into the last 2 rounds, I'm now 7-7. At this point, playing for, like, a little more than min cash, I guess. But match wins are very, very important, obviously, because as the adjusted match point system works, the more wins you get, the better and easier it is to qualify for the next few Pro Tours. So I already know I'm qualified for Pro Tour Seattle based on my results at Worlds and the prior Pro Tour. But now I'm trying to qualify for the next Pro Tour, but I don't know how it works exactly. And if you know me, I don't even want to know, honestly. I kind of just want to play and do well. And if I make it, cool. If I don't, I don't. Don't want that undue pressure. So we go to the last round. Wait, what? I'm sorry, second to last round. So 2 rounds left. We'd like to try and get some wins together and finish strong. At this point, we have Sam Party's locked for top 8, which is awesome. And then Luis was live for top 8, and so was Seth was live as well. Playing against a blue control player, and we have a really weird match where game 1. At this point, I'm also like kind of bummed. Like I've lost 3 in a row. I'm not feeling super great, and all right, sorry, we had ads. We had ads on Twitch. So we play game 1 where literally the game ends. We play a long game. I have like 14 lands in play, a Sorin on like, I don't know, like 17 loyalty or something like that. And my hand was just Sorin, Fatal Push, something like that. Like we had like this ridiculous game where I just like had a decent start and then resolved the Sorin and then just drew like, land, Sorin, land, Fatal Push, land, Sorin, whatever, like just forever, So really tough game 1 and very demoralizing after losing 3 rounds in a row. Deck just like not functioning and just like, come on, So, but luckily, game 2 and 3 were a lot better, and I'm able to pull it out, win the match. So now I'm 8-7, going to the last round. I know Luis has a win and in. I don't know it at the time, but Seth has a win and in also. Last time I looked Seth, he was like, X3-1, like 4 rounds ago, and I haven't seen him since. So I know Luis has a win and in. I didn't know Seth had a win and in, but which is really cool. Team's doing pretty well. And the last round I play against Mark playing Ensoul Artifact. So this is the Twitter drama match. I'm not going to go into that too much because I don't really care about Twitter drama, honestly. But playing Ensoul and yeah, I'm not gonna bother going into it. So playing Ensoul, game 1, I'm all good at 5, and there's this Twitter drama. All right, so Mark asked for a concession because he would queue him for the next 2 PTs. All right, and that's totally legal thing to do, not a problem at all. And I'm like, yeah, I can't really concede because I don't know what the match wins win or whatever, and so on and so forth. Match wins mean everything, and the way the current structure is honestly really good, given how it used to be back in the day, because every win means something. So there's very, very few spots you should be conceding, because how it works is adjusted match points count every match win you have over a tournament. And if you do well for a few tournaments in a row, they add up to a number that's 39 or more, and you qualify again. So it's hard to know what points matter for what things. And again, I didn't even know what my freaking points were at the time anyway, because I don't even want to know. I want to just kind of play my matches and win and see what happens. So he asked me to concede. I say no. We play our match. So I mulligan to 5 game 1. I play like 1 spell and die, just like have an awful draw. Game 2, we have a pretty close one. And, back and forth game, I end up winning. And then game 3, like you mulligans. I have a good Thoughtseize on turn 1. I mean, it is a deck with a lot of air in it. Obviously, I Thoughtseize like the 1 key in Soul Artifact. There's a few 1/1s left over. And he draws a lot of lands, puts Gigant in his hand, and just dies. So that's the end of the match. He asked if I wanted to concede again. I said No, I'm sorry. I feel bad, but no, obviously it sucks. It's I definitely was empathetic. I felt like, it sucks to lose a big match, obviously, which stinks, but packed things up, it went away. Cool. And that's it, 9-7. So cool. So I'm having 9-7, and Brent walks over, and Pascal walks over. We're talking a little bit, and then Seth walks over, and Seth is like, "Hey guys, am I gonna congrats or what?" And like what? Like he's like, I made top 8. I'm like, what? You made top 8? I didn't even know you were alive for it, So like we're like sick. So we got Seth and Sam in top 8, which is freaking awesome, and that's insane. So we got 2 vampire players in top 8, 2 players in top 8 overall, and just an incredible finish. Even putting 1 player in top 8 would be phenomenal. 2 is incredible. So we got Sam in top 8. We got Seth in top 8. It's a good top 8 also. John Emmanuel Duprat, Simon Nielsen. So big top 8. Super awesome. Very pumped. And again, I didn't even know Seth was live, which is super cool too. So honestly, it's funny. Very similar event to the Pioneer Pro Tour last year, which we'll get to. So, and then Luis lost a win in the last round, unfortunately. Where Luis played against Lotus Field, and apparently the Lotus Field player like runnered him, where he had to like cycle a Vizier into something else. So like Luis got pretty unlucky to not make top 8 also. So we almost had 3 players in top 8 with the Vampire, which would have been awesome. So that's day 2. Pro Tour is now over for everyone but the top 8 players. Seth picks out a cool Chinese place. We go to Chinatown. We have a great Chinese dinner. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture of us having dinner, which I stinks. There's like 10 of us, whatever, it's like family style. And have a nice Chinese food dinner. It was awesome. My only like big meals of the event or whatever, which is pretty sweet. And that was it. It was time for Sunday. So Sunday for me, now I'm out. And how these events usually work is that I'm playing the Pro Tour Friday and Saturday all day. I'm also a content creator. I'm at a MagicCon, so I don't do anything or see anybody basically. I'm in my Pro Tour area. Every once in a while someone will come over and say hi. I'll sign a card or two, but like for the most part, I'm in my area doing my thing. So Sunday now I'm free, right? I can walk around, do stuff. So walked around, say hi to folks, and I birded the Ultimate Guard drafts. They did a little like promo draft, whatever. It's cool. Got to that at J-Bro, and J-Bro's like, "Yo, we're gonna cube. I want a cube." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we can do that, sure." So hang out the cool stuff, walk around for a little bit. I get roped into a cube draft. So we get to the cube area, and we're like, "All right, we have a cube?" And we're like, "No." J-Bro's like, "I can get one though." So J-Bro borrows this cube, and this cube was the second most expensive cube in the entire world, as said by the owner. It's Aqua One Cube, and this thing was unfreaking believable. All right, every single card is altered by an artist, foil, beta power. Like there was a handler there to keep an eye on it or whatever kind of thing. Like it was like a surreal experience. Altered libraries, and every alter is done by the artist too. Like insane. So we do this cube draft. It was a money draft, or pride points draft or whatever, and just like totally insane. I got this Oath deck. I was a few cards short, unfortunately. I had an Oath ring. I was just like 5 playables short. Like I saw 2 boom booms the entire draft for my Oath of Druids. Probably a bad idea to draft Oath of Druids in like an unknown cubes. I don't know what's the cube, obviously, So my deck was kind of bad. I drew a lot of lands. My deck was kind of eh. So yeah, cool Ember, cool altar. I had a library in my deck. Every basic land is altar with like cool art on it. It's pretty sick. So lose the draft, whatever, don't care. It was fun being on J-Bro's team for once. Me and J-Bro on the same team, which is super cool. So hanging out with everyone doing a cube draft just with $1 million on the table, which is just ridiculous. And I did have one good game here. You can see with my Oath of Druids and my Ember Cool, but that was fun. But forget all that. It's time to walk back over to the Pro Tour area and watch the finals. So unfortunately, Sam lost in the quarters, but of course Seth won the quarters. Seth won the semis, and now Seth's playing in the finals against Simon Nielsen, reigning player of the year. This is a phenomenal finals. Like the Pro Tours this year the Pro Tours in the last year have been so awesome. Every Pro Tour's been insane, right? So watching the thing, we're all hanging out in the pro lounge area watching, and phenomenal match. If you haven't watched it, go freaking watch it. Just absolutely insane. Simon's playing Heroic, which is another like weird kind of like unexpected deck or whatever. And we're all watching. It's funny, you saw us on the coverage because they cut over to our area, and Logan made like little signs that go Seth and stuff, which was really fun. Watch the final match, and freaking Seth wins. He wins it in 4. Awesome game. Unfortunately, the sad part was that most of our team had already left at this point. All the Europeans, the flights to Europe are like usually midday flights, so all the Europeans had already left. So like Nassif and Pascal and Arne, Brand, they were all gone, unfortunately. So this was who was left from our team still in the building, and then Reed was on the main stage doing like a thing or whatever. So the Europeans plan on losing. Well, I mean, like, you change your flight. Like, Seth's flight was also for midday, and he changed it to later because he was talking about the Pro Tour. So Seth wins the freaking Pro Tour. It's freaking awesome. Just like, couldn't ask for more out of an event, right? You know, we built this cool deck. Everyone worked on it. We all played it. We all did really, really well. We won the Pro Tour. Very, very similar to Pro Tour Phyrexia. Last year, the Pioneer Pro Tour that Reed won was almost the exact same thing. You know, we had this kind of like unknown deck. It wasn't like super unknown, it was creativity. It was unplayed. And like, we all did really well with it. Puts these players in top 8. They're both Hall of Famers. One of them wins the whole thing. Just awesome. It's like super, super cool. And just really, really awesome. And great for Seth too. Seth's great. Seth's awesome. This is Seth's second Pro Tour win. And he's won Worlds. This puts Seth up in like, you know, top 5 of all time conversation. Just awesome. So yeah, Seth wins a freaking Pro Tour. Stopped by for a picture with Ailey and Corey because they were off to the side in the coverage area, and it was just freaking awesome. So just super, super awesome. Again, couldn't be happier for Seth. He's a family man now. He's got 2 kids, you know, and he wasn't able to come out to the testing house because, like, you know, he's just got a family, and you know, it's funny. He's like going back to school, and he's like looking into being a teacher and stuff like that too. And now he's, you know, winning Pro Tours again. It's like, what do you want to do, man? You know, but yeah, super, super awesome. Really, really incredible experience. Just super, super, super cool. And then, you know, Seth has to go to the airport and kind of go our separate ways. You know, we all shake hands, whatever. Look forward to the next Pro Tour. And then I'm off. I wanted the hall for a little bit, content creator-wise. Who did I run to? But CGB, right? And CGB's like, hey, man, want to go to dinner? We had some cancellations. Want to go get some Italian? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So me, CGB, Z-Bex, and her husband, Brock, all go out for a nice Italian dinner. Get to hang out for like 2 hours, talk shop, which is super cool. And, you know, this is my only real content creator experience of the entire event. You know, every content creator in the world was at this event. And I didn't see basically anybody. You know, like, I said hi to Orlando at one point. You know, waved someone else, saw Veggie for a minute. But, like, it's really, this is it. So, great to see them, hang out with them for a bit. Love CGB, love Z-Bex. And they're both great. And yeah, it's just freaking awesome. So, I got to do that. And that's it. Back on an airplane and flying home. Next Pro Tour's in Seattle in 2 months, and I go home and look in there, and that's what I come home to. Aww. Home to this little guy. You know, of course, coming home to Nicole and John, the whole family, super great. And I am pooped. I am pretty damn pooped. So, yeah, pretty awesome experience, though. Questions, put them in chat right now. I'll do a little questions segment. I'll answer your questions on it and stuff like that, too. But, yeah, unbelievable event. Just super, super cool. Like, you really, like, it would be hard to ask for anything more than this Pro Tour. You know, every player dreams of, like, finding an awesome unknown deck, playing at the Pro Tour, and doing well. And, like, to do it with a team of, like, the best players in the world is just, like, such an unbelievable experience. Whenever I'm in these Pro Tour houses, I'm just like, why am I here? You know, like, I'm just a stupid fart noise streamer. You know, what am I doing here? You know, but, like, it's awesome. It's really, really cool. So, super awesome. Again, I'm now qualified for Pro Tour Seattle. And then now also qualified for Pro Tour Amsterdam, which is super cool. And it's great. And we just didn't play vampires really in leagues or whatever. Once you decide a deck is good, we don't play it in the open field anymore. We just play it internally and stuff like that too. So that's awesome. I'll go over questions here real fast. Best food I got, probably the pizza we got. I didn't really eat out that much, honestly. Know of any other teams that would love vampires? I don't think so, honestly. Name of the cube, I don't know. Yeah, Ripper went up a lot. Yeah, I bought it for like $5 each, for like $30 now. So, Jack Reset, thanks so much. Thoughts on vampires moving forward? It's gonna be worse. I think a lot of the power of a deck is definitely the unknown factor. Where, like, if you haven't seen the card Vein Ripper in play, your head sort of explodes because you realize, like, holy crap, I'm like I'm dead. You know, or like it's just so much damage. You know, it's like it's a weird hard card to deal with. We were all getting better at playing against vampires as the testing house went on. The players in the Pro Tour didn't have that experience. Obviously, they were all playing against it. You know, kind of new. So I'm got a big cam here. I don't know. I think it like could probably just replace Rakdos mid range because it's doing most things that mid range is doing, but also has this upside as well, which is cool. But anyway, we tried Transmogrify deck. That's on my YouTube. Tried a few more different things, but I'm excited for Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I was already qualified for it, but I'm definitely poked for it. Am I in Worlds contention? Yeah, I mean, same thing. Like I queued for Worlds last year on like the adjusted match points. Same idea. If you keep doing well in events, you qualify for more things. So I'm my queue for Worlds. Twitter drama, yeah, whatever. In hindsight, I think a deck is soft for Lotus Field. No, I mean we were fine against Lotus Field. We were a little worse against Phoenix than I would have liked game one. But what did LSV think of 4C, 5C in drafts? You gotta ask him. I don't know, right? I think the format was mostly aggressive, though, for sure. Although Pascal was, like, crushing us in the house with 5-color decks, which is pretty cool. And then CDB's pretty tall, yep. Consider Heroic. Did not even consider it. Although it was a brilliant choice, honestly. He's very, very smart. Thoughts of a State of Pioneer? I think that Cruz needs to go. I think Cruz and Fable should be banned, honestly. That's my opinion, though. Mono Black versus Black Red. The card's so much better. So much better in Black Red. It's not even funny. And, no more questions. Didn't play against Heroic at all. Who decides who's didn't have a team? We just do votes. We have a core group, then we vote on people who come in. And that's basically it. All right, yeah, cool. So awesome, folks. I'll answer more on stream, but YouTube folks, I love you. Like, comment, subscribe, support the content, of course. Hope you enjoyed the recap. And again, if you want to see more in-depth recap of my drafts, I'll go over that on my Bronze Mythic channel. So look for that over there on Will. All right, so YouTube folks, I love you. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. I'm out.